we are going to talk about sleep wellness. We spend a third of our lives sleeping, so we decided this would be a good topic to address today. It's something that we talk about a lot in our clinic, and we're going to talk about how and why to have a good sleep environment, the best position to sleep in to actually support your body, and then some quick mobility exercises to help you kind of get up and going in the morning. So my name is Stephanie Collister. I'm a physical therapist at Klein Physical Therapy. I am fellowship trained in orthopedics and manual therapy, so we see a lot of people with back pain, neck pain, after injuries, surgeries, and this is a common issue that we see, waking up with pain or having pain that kind of stops you from falling asleep or getting comfortable in bed. So it's something that we wanted to address today, so that we can help you guys get a better night's sleep and feel more rested and less painful during the day. So if you have any questions or comments as we're going through our talk today, please comment below. Let us know, maybe if you have an issue or shoulder pain, back pain, something that we don't address that you want to know, maybe how you can get more comfortable at night, or if you have a comment on maybe a pillow that you love or something like that, let us know, and we'll check out those comments towards the end of our talk. So we have the three pillars of health. So exercise is one of those. As physical therapists, of course, that's what we're talking to patients about a lot. Nutrition is another one. And then, so I think just in general, for the average person, we think exercise and nutrition being super important for our wellness. That kind of makes sense to us. But that third pillar is sleep. So when you're not getting enough sleep, it's going to decrease your immune system function. So of course that's important right now with coronavirus going on. We want to make sure we're staying healthy all the time, but especially in a time like this where stress levels can be high. And it can even impact things like your nutrition. So your hunger drive is affected by how much sleep you get. So things like that we don't think about necessarily being connected to our sleep actually are all integrated into that component of our sleep and wellness. So if you're not getting enough sleep, that can result in increased pain perception, loss of function and reduced quality of life, depression, anxiety, impaired memory, reduced ability to learn new motor skills. So again, something that we're addressing a lot in a physical therapy setting. But it can even increase your risk for accidents, injuries, and falls. If you're sleepy during the day and you're trying to go to work and get stuff done, that's going to make you not as efficient and not as confident in how you're moving around. So sleep, super important, going to help our immune function, our tissue healing, pain modulation, our cardiovascular health, even our cognitive function and memory. So they've done studies with an index that we're going to talk about in a little bit called the Sleep Hygiene Index, that actually showed high school students their trend of their GPA related to how they scored themselves on their sleep hygiene. And so students who scored lower, which is better on the sleep hygiene index, actually showed a trend towards higher GPAs, so better school performance, or if you're not in school, maybe better work performance as well. This was a fun fact I came across when I was prepping for this little talk. Andre Iguodala, basketball player, MVP in the NBA Finals in 2015. That season, when he was the MVP, he had actually made a really concerted effort that season. He worked with a physician who specializes in sleep to improve his sleep habits that year. So that year, not only was he the MVP, his three-point percentage, his success rate doubled, and his foul rate and his turnover rates dropped by 35 to 45%. So really good impact even on just your sports performance as well. For athletes maybe who are watching this that don't have an injury, it can actually help you perform better in school, at work, in your sports or athletic performance. So super important to get that good quality sleep. So now, how do we actually make that happen, right? What is the sleep hygiene index, and what does that mean? So your sleep hygiene is cleanliness, right? So your sleep hygiene is the environment around you supportive for you to actually get a good night's sleep. So on our index, I'll post this little link to the document here in a little bit, but asks you questions and you kind of score yourself. Do you always do these things? Do you never do these things? And it kind of just is like a checklist for you. If you're scoring really high on this, maybe you need to say, okay, that's a behavior that I can modify, or something that I can do something about to help me sleep better. So for example, are you doing other things in your bed besides sleeping, right? That's supposed to be your sanctuary. So if you're working, doing your schoolwork, your emails from bed, that's kind of setting you up to a state of mind that's not relaxed and ready to sleep and rest. Thinking, planning, or worrying in bed. I know that for me has always been something that could be an issue. So especially when I was in school, kind of worrying about a big test or something like that. You can kind of lie in bed and just worry about, what's going to happen tomorrow, or just run through your list. We live in a go society most of the time when we're not quarantined. And so just that little chatter in the brain, I think for a lot of people can keep you up at night. So an exercise or kind of routine that I like to recommend for people is like a little breathing exercise. I was just talking with a patient about this the other day because she's been having a lot of trouble sleeping. So just counting your breathing. So in, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And just focusing on that counting to help kind of clear your mind. So you're focusing on something other than, what am I going to do tomorrow? What do I need to get the kids to, what time do the kids need to be at swim practice? Or, whatever those little things are that keep you lying up at night. So that's a little breathing activity that I like and I recommend to patients a lot. So I would recommend kind of getting on that little document and kind of take a look at that for yourself and see what you can do to modify your environment a little bit. So, and then part of what it talks about on there is your bed comfortable? Is your pillow comfortable? Are you actually, are you uncomfortable all night and that's why you can't sleep? So again, for patients who maybe have had surgery, that's something we talk about a lot is, now you can't lie on that shoulder. It needs to heal and rest. You don't want to sleep with pressure on it for 8 hours at night. So how can we get comfortable in bed to where we're still able to sleep, but we're not putting extra stress on our joints all night long? So one other big question we get is, what type of pillow should I use? And so there's not one specific pillow that I think is the magic answer. It's all kind of about what works for you and how your body is aligned and positioned. So I've got a couple different options here, and we'll go through some different positions to sleep in. So, you might not even need a pillow at all, right? It just depends. So let's go through that. Obviously, I'm not in a real bed. I'm on a nice firm table here. So that's going to make a difference also, how soft your bed is. Hopefully you've got a bed that's nice and supportive for you. But so one position, not usually people's favorite I find, but a good one for your back, and a position a lot of people have to sleep in if they've had surgery, is on your back. This is my pillow I brought from home. It's kind of a memory foam one. I like it. And then I've got a couple little thinner ones here. So if you're sleeping on your back, you might think, I'm going to get all my pillows nice and comfy here, stack them up. And then you go to lie down, and what happens to your neck? You're pushing yourself forward into this, position that's putting you like this. Well, you wouldn't sit at your desk all day looking down like that, hopefully. So it's not a position you want to be sleeping in all night either, right? So let's take 2 of those pillows and stick them down here. Now we just have one that's going to just support that natural little curve of your neck. And then these other 2 are going under your knees to kind of support and take that pressure off your back. And that's pretty comfortable right there. That's gonna keep the spine nice and straight and give you some good support for your back. Now the one exception I would say to that position would be if you've had knee surgery, and I think I've got someone watching who's had knee surgery and been through some rehab here. So for you, we angled those pillows down more towards your feet, if you guys can see that. And then that leg needs to be up and elevated still, so you're still supporting your back, but your foot is elevated instead of keeping that bend under your knee. all night long, so that we can get that full range of motion back. And then I think side sleeping is probably the most common or comfortable position for a lot of people. That's typically where I'm at night. So again, having that extra pillow for your legs is going to be super important. So it's actually going to go between the knees, right? So again, supporting the low back and the hips. If you put that pillow just between your knees there, it's going to take that pressure off so that that knee isn't pulling you down all night long. And then the head, you want to make sure that you're just supporting that natural space between your shoulder and your head there, so that you're, again, keeping that aligned position, kind of nice and neutral there. Not having, 5 pillows stacked up again to where you're kinked to the side and waking up with that neck pain. Okay, so everyone's going to be a little different depending on maybe some natural curvature you already have in your spine. But as you can see, the common theme is keeping that spine supported in a neutral position. Now, if you have shoulder pain, lying on your side like that might be a little rough, so you might want to rotate to the side a little bit, or try lying on your back. I find a lot of people really have trouble with that, but hopefully with those little pillow tips, you can kind of get yourself into a position that would be a little more comfortable and tolerable. And then if you're like me and you have that pillow between your knees and you wake up and you can't find it because you've kicked it across the room or onto the floor, that's okay. It happens. Just grab it and go again, put it back, and try to get back into that good supportive position for your body. And then kind of the last position I want to talk about that I think is a little less common, but some people are really comfortable here, is on your stomach. So I'm actually going to switch my pillows around. So I'm going to put this thinner one up at my head, and my bigger, more kind of comfy, squishy pillow is actually going to go under my hips. So that's going to be a lot more supportive again on your back. The one group of people I would say you probably don't want to sleep on your stomach is if you have neck pain, because unless you have a pillow cut into your mat, or a hole cut into your mattress or your pillow, you have to keep your head turned to the side to lie on your stomach, right? That's going to be a little bit tough on your neck. So you wouldn't sit at your desk all day or at home all day with your head turned to the side doing everything like this for 8 hours during the day and expect to not have a sore neck. So you probably don't want to sleep for 8 hours in that position either. But like I said, if you're really kind of married to that position of sleeping on your stomach, kind of the best way here is going to be with that pillow under your hips. So I'll just kind of show that one really quick. And again, that's just going to support the lower back. So it's going to be right about there. And then you probably just want a little thin pillow for your head. And that's going to really support that lower back pretty nicely. So those are kind of the main positions I think that people sleep in at night. And if you toss and turn and move around, that's fine. Again, just grab that pillow and kind of readjust the best you can to try to keep yourself from putting too much stress through your body and your joints. So last little bit I want to touch on for today about sleep is actually the waking up component. So when you get up and going for the day, again, another thing that a lot of patients talk about is, oh, it's just so hard to get up and going in the morning, and my knee is so stiff, or whatever their trouble area is. So one thing, since I'm already sitting here, is, before you get up and run in for the day, take a second and just sit at the edge of the bed there and kind of shake your legs out a little bit, do some little ankle circles, get your joints moving a little bit, right? And just kind of grease the wheels before you jump up onto the feet to run into the day. Give yourself that little 2 minutes of movement before you load your body onto the floor. But I want to end with our favorite stretch, I think. Here, one of our favorite stretches that is a good kind of lying down, easy to do in the morning stretch is our open book stretch. And I know that Brad had done a video about this on his YouTube channel at our partner clinic, Klein Physical Therapy. So there's a reference back to this one here through their page. But our open book stretch, you want your knees kind of up in front of you. You're lying on your side. You get up in the morning, and it's an easy one to do. You got your arms out in front of you, and you're going to reach back. Follow that hand with your eyes, turning your head, and then come back together. And that really, just kind of repeat that a couple times. And that's really a nice stretch to kind of get the whole body moving, the shoulders, the spine all kind of warmed up and moving a little bit. And that is one that I like to do in the morning. Now, if you got someone sleeping next to you, be careful you're not whacking them in the face. You can bend your elbow so you don't take up as much room if you need to. But that is kind of a favorite of mine. I would like to post the sleep hygiene index. I was having a little difficulty on the computer. Let me see if I can get on there and post that for you guys. I think that would be a good thing for you guys to go ahead and do this afternoon. Go on and post, print out that sleep hygiene index. I'll post it on our page because I don't think I'm going to be able to post it on the chat right at the moment, but I'll post it afterwards. And score yourself on there. See what score you get, and see if you can work on improving your sleep environment so that you have kind of a more restful space to go to bed in. And then we have some other webinars coming from our partner clinics. So like I mentioned, Brad's channel, he's doing a talk tomorrow about posture for your daytime activities and kind of some other little mobility drills. So hopefully you guys have been able to log in and see some of these little videos and get some good tips from us. And, you know, if not, if you're still having some trouble or some pain, give us a call and see if we can help you out. You know, we're happy to help you through any aches or pains that you've got going on, or if you've tried to get back into working out while you've been quarantined and you need some guidance. You know, we're able to do wellness services as well. You know, it doesn't have to be that you have a specific injury or you've had surgery. You know, we can help you get going into a wellness routine as well. And that's something, you know, that we don't always get the opportunity to do as much, but we really enjoy helping people when they're not injured and you're feeling good and coming in. It's nice to be able to kind of prevent some of those injuries, hopefully, from sneaking up on you. So partnersinTherapy.com is our website, and that's going to take you to our whole partnership. So around the Houston area, we have a few locations. So if Spring isn't your area, one of our partner clinics is probably close by, and we'd love to hear from you and help you out. If anybody has any other questions or comments here. Teresa's gonna sleep well tonight. She's already thinking about getting more relaxed. And I will post that sleep hygiene chart in just a minute here on our Facebook page. And Jennifer, don't take too many naps, because that is question number 1 on our sleep hygiene index. Don't take long naps more than 2 hours or too close to bedtime, although it's tempting when you're in quarantine all day and you're home and you can nap. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to y'all soon.